Hi everyone, it's craftytinas. Today's video is going to be this cute little triple fold planner notebook. So I'm calling it a triple fold because it opens to reveal 3 sections. And I'm calling it a planner because I designed some calendar pages. These pages are going to be on my Facebook page. The link will be in the comments, so if you want to print them. So let's see what we have. It is a notebook with a spiral on one side using the We Are Memory Keepers cinch. We've added a pen loop to hold a dry eraser marker, and I'll show you why in a second. I added a pocket to the first page so I could put some notes inside. I just grabbed a scrap of paper so I could show you guys. You could put the pocket here or here, and then you have a calendar. Now, the calendar has no numbers, no months, and no years, and I left it blank on purpose so that you guys could personalize this. If you have number stamps, this would be really cute to stamp the numbers yourself. I'm going to make some little square stickers to fit the inside of these squares that have January through December and have some other things like birthdays and vacation, holidays, just a few of the square stickers to put with these. That's probably what I'll put in the pocket. So you can stick the stickers anywhere you want. There are 6 weeks here, so no matter how the month starts and ends, you will have plenty of space, but you will always have a few extra because there are 35 spots here. So there'll at least on the busiest month be 4 extra spots, so you'll be able to put a sticker or even write what the month is. Now, another thing is if you're a student, you go to school, and you don't want to start your calendar in January because your school year starts in like August, you can start your calendar wherever you want it. So because this is my design, I designed this up in the Silhouette Studios for my Silhouette cutter, but I made this into a PDF so I could share with you guys because it's not copyrighted, it is my design. So you are going to get the file to print this yourself. Now these are quarter pages, they're 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I like to fold my pages instead of cutting them and then printing on both sides. If I'm using a pen or a gel pen or a highlighter, I don't like the ink to go through, and I like flipping the pages on the fold part. That to me is really cool. So what I've done is I've designed this so that you can print. This is the first page, and this is the back page. And I know it's backwards, but it didn't really matter. You need to print one of this sheet, and it's going to be called first page, last page. These are going to be called mini planner sheets, by the way. Then you will print you need 11 of these, but there's 2 to a page. So you need to print 6 of these, and you'll end up with 1 sheet extra, or 1/2 page extra. So you'll need to print 6 of these and 1 of these to make your calendar. You don't have to stop at 12 months. If you want to go 18 months, there is room in here that you can go thicker. So if you wanted an 18-month calendar, that's fine. You could even go larger wire and larger center partial chipboard. You could make this a little larger and this a little larger, and you could actually do a 2-year calendar if you choose to. So these pages are going to be on my Facebook page. The link is going to be in the comments. Let's get started so I can show you how to make this. The other thing that I found cool is because it's a 3-fold book, it stands up. So if you wanted to put this on your desk, you could stand this up. You could also close the calendar part to keep that private. But the reason you may want to do that is because this lovely little piece right here is not only dry erase, it is also magnetic. So you could put your notes and any flat magnet that will still allow your book to close. I don't even know where these little magnets came from, but they're really cute. If you use the button press machine from We Are Memory Keepers, you can also make a small button, put a magnet on the back, and use that. Then your button can actually match your notebook. But It's kind of really neat that that is magnetic and dry erase. I got this as I think it was a 12 by 18 sheet, and it cuts like butter with your paper cutter. I mean, it cuts really, really smooth. So let's talk about all the supplies, and then let's get started so I can show you how to make this really cool little book. You are going to need the dry erase magnetic sheet. It has adhesive on one side, so you don't have to worry about putting it on and it falling off. This is a really good adhesive too, so it's in here. It's on there really good. Even though this is on wallpaper vinyl, which should make it easy to pull off, it sticks, it stays. So I was really happy with the quality. It's also thin, doesn't add any bulk or any problems to your book. You're going to need one of these slightly smaller than your actual book. And this, again, is a 1/4 page book, so it's 5.5 by 4 1/4. When I say a 1/4 page book, what I'm referring to is if you had a full sheet of 8.5 by 11 paper, this is half of it. So when you print your sheet, you're cutting it in half and then folding each half. I'm giving you the first page so that it's blank on the top, and the last page so it's blank on the back. And then you need to print 11 of the centers, then fold them in half. And that gives you 12 months. You're going to need chipboard for your covers. I use the 30-point chipboard. You're going to need 3 pieces that are 4 1/4 by 5.5. Again, a 1/4 page. And this is 30-point chipboard. It's stiff enough without being too stiff so you have trouble cutting it, but it still makes for a nice small notebook. You're also going to need a piece that is 5.5 by 1/2 inch. You only need 1, and that is for the spine on this side. This side has your wire, but this side is your spine that holds these 2 pieces together. The next thing I did, and it's totally optional, is put a pocket either on your front page or the inside cover. You could put one on the back cover, but I chose to put my pen there. This pen could go here or here. I just chose to have it in the center one. I purchased these on Amazon. They're adhesive backed pen loops. I've been experimenting making my own, but I do have these 12. They were 12 different colors in a pack. I think they were $7 for 12 pieces. I kind of found that to be a little pricey just for such a small thing. But they are well made. They're fake leather, so I can get hubby to laser initials and names or symbols on these. So that's not actually a bad deal. This is the optional pocket. I simply cut a piece of cardstock or paper, used a hole punch to punch half a hole, and I'm going to show you that step as well. My vinyl wants to curl up because I just took it off the roll. You're going to need a wire. Your wire is double loop, 2-to-1 pitch. That's very important. The We Are Memory Keeper Cinch only does the 2-to-1 pitch. So this is a 7/16 double loop wire. I'll put that in the comments as well. It came from Amazon. It is not the We Are Memory Keeper brand. It is a generic brand. They are much more efficient. They're much cheaper than the We Are Memory Keepers, and they are easier to find. That is the 7/16. I used my little guide to figure out what size I wanted to make. Keep in mind this isn't part of the spiral, so if you're making a different size and you're using my little guide that's on another one of my YouTube videos, make sure you're only measuring this section and not your flap with the magnetic piece on it. So I wanted something that wasn't going to be too big. This is the smallest I have at the moment. It's the 7/16, and this was going to fit perfectly. If you want to make this guide, I have a video showing you exactly how to do it using scraps of your of your chipboard and a piece of wire for each of the size wires that you have. So we have our wire. The next thing you're going to need is your vinyl, and you're going to need 4 pieces of vinyl, and I've written down the sizes. And if you'd like, I can put that in the comments as well. That I know that helps to have an actual guide. But you can always come back to the video and check it out again and make sure that not only are the measurements right, but the steps are correct too. We've talked about the pen loop. Now, in order to make this, especially with this binding, such as this, I've made other videos to show you how to make this. I use a book binding tool. This is new. If you guys see my other videos, my husband printed me this on the 3D printer. My complaint was this was crooked, so I was having to really make sure that everything was straight. So he was really nice and got me a purple plexiglass, which he cut out with his laser and actually engraved craftytinas on it. So I was pretty proud of that, so I had to bring it to the video, and I'm going to need to use it anyway, and it will be its first test. So you will need whatever pen you want. You don't have to put the dry erase pen in the pen loop. I don't know why we have loose threads. That's not good. We will cut those off later, or actually burn them off later. You don't have to put your dry erase marker here. You can put a pen here if you'd rather have a pen for this. Whatever you choose. But this is our little notebook, so let's get started. I like to start with the largest thing first, so let's get the big piece out of the way. This is the 10.5 by 7. We're at 10.5 by 7. This was the end of the roll, so it's round. Normally I try to put it underneath my mat to flatten out, but I wanted to get this video made. If you're buying this from Dollar Tree, which this glitter rose gold, that's where it came from, please be aware, I bought 3 rolls at the exact same time. They are not the exact same color. All 3 of them are slightly different. Not enough to really matter, but I wanted you to be aware that if you are buying them, make sure you look at them. If you need both rolls, compare the rolls in the store to make sure you're getting them close to the same color. You don't need the exact same color as long as it's close. So we are going to do the largest section first. So what you need to have is 2 of your 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 chipboards and your 1 piece of 1/2 inch by 5 1/2. We are going to put this onto the sticky side of our vinyl. Usually vinyl that is curled will flatten when you take the back off. If you're making large books, I recommend only pulling the paper back halfway to expose it. Only because once this sticks to itself, you can't get it undone. I also like to keep it on a grid, such as the cutting mat you see below. By doing this, I can get an idea where my 1/2 inch in is, because I need at least a 1/2 inch in. And I can kind of get it a little straight. It's okay if you don't get it totally straight. I've allowed a little extra, but once you start getting off, it is going to continue to be off, and you want to make sure you have enough coverage. So we are going to peel this the rest of the way off carefully. And this is where the little tool comes in handy. I need a gap, and it needs to be a square and equal gap. And that is what this tool is for. You can purchase these on Etsy, and you can purchase them on Amazon, or you can hit somebody up that has a 3D printer or a laser machine that can cut plexiglass. I got lucky. Hubby knows I like purple, and I got a purple plexiglass one. Once you've laid the next one down, you simply move the tool over, making sure it's flush against the bottom and here, and that way it creates this perfect gap. And then you need the next piece of chipboard going into that corner. You can eyeball this. I'm not comfortable doing that. And now I have it all lined up. The next step I'm going to need to do is I'm going to cut my corners. And typical, I didn't have my scissors ready. I just need to cut the corners, but not cut them so short that there's no space between the chipboard and the edge of the vinyl. If you cut them too short, you will be able to see the chipboard. But if you leave too much, there'll be a fold. And there are guides you can buy to help you, and I've tried a couple, but they're really not worth it to me. We just simply cut, try to stay in the camera view, and cut again. I don't usually leave this much extra, but when you're trying to line up 3 pieces, you really want to make sure that if you get off, there's enough coverage all the way around. Starting in the center, bring your vinyl forward. This is thin vinyl, so it's very forgiving for wrinkles. The actual book that I made that we're duplicating is wallpaper. This is adhesive wallpaper. It is not as forgiving, but because it's thicker, it doesn't wrinkle as much. This will make a bulkier cover, or this makes a thinner cover. Don't really have a preference between the two because they are very different in looks. That I haven't made a choice of I'll only use wallpaper or I'll only use adhesive vinyl. I like using everything. Again, we're just gonna put these little edges all the way around. Now, if you have a bone folder, then you know where it is. You can use that to make your little score marks. Just getting the adhesives to touch is all you really need to do. And make sure you don't have any wrinkles. You can flip it over and see there's no wrinkles. It's a very smooth vinyl. Even though it's very cheap from Dollar Tree, it does a really good job. Now the next piece we need to do is way too big. I have no idea how this was not cut properly. So I will go back and amend my measurements. This was 6.5, and that's why, because 6.5 is how much you need for the outside, not the inside. This is actually 9.25, so I need 9 inches this way, which I have. This direction needs to be 5.5, so it needs to be 5.25. So right here is where I should have cut. And I never free cut, so guys, this is a first. I'm just gonna try to guide myself to cut. We're actually going to show you a trick. This is a fabric trick. I used to just fold it up and draw a line. Cut, and fold it up and draw a line. I used to do this when I was sewing and I was trying to hem something and I was too lazy to go find the ruler. My cutting board is across the room and I didn't want to leave you guys hanging. You guys know I don't edit my videos. It is what it is. Ta-da! So we needed to change this measurement to 5.25 by 9. I will make sure in the comments that those measurements are correct. We basically just need something smaller than this. We don't want it to go off the edges, but we need it to cover the cardboard look of the chipboard. One thing I know about this is it does really well blending, so you almost cannot tell where the lines are. We're just gonna eyeball this and lay it down. See what I'm saying? You guys can't even tell where the seam actually goes. Let's put our marks here. I will say that with this Dollar Tree vinyl, it does cut very easily, so guys, be careful that you're not slicing it when you're using your little bone tool. So now I have this piece of our book. Now I need to make this piece. Let's see if we got the measurements correctly this time. This is 6.5 by 5.25. That is correct. There is a 1/2 inch all the way around. This piece is the 5.25 by 4, which is the slightly smaller than the chipboard. So these measurements are correct. We're going to peel the adhesive off. Let's take this away. When it's just one piece, I usually feel comfortable exposing the whole thing. We just need to center this the best we can so that we have enough all the way around to fold in. Careful of the edges that can create a major paper cut. Ask me how I know that one. We will cut the corners off, not going all the way to the chipboard. You need to leave a small amount, like this one's really, really close. So if it is too close, I will show you a little trick. So let's start here and see how it's not going to, it's going to show a little gap. I can put a little piece there in the corner so that when I fold this over, there's no gap there. I get carried away sometimes with the scissors, so I had to come up with a way. See, this one is going to close and this one is going to close. That's why sometimes you'll see me hang on to the corner just in case I need to amend just a little bit. This would have just had a small section of chipboard showing, and I didn't want that. So let's take this vinyl off. And again, we're just going to center it here. This vinyl blends in really well. Oh no. If you have a wrinkle, slowly pull it up and do it right away. Don't wait, because once this sticks, it sticks really good. Now when you're doing it with wallpaper, wallpaper is much thicker, and this is printed wallpaper, so you will see where this vinyl ends and this one's tucked underneath. When you're doing it with this glitter, you really can't see where it starts and stops. So that's one plus for this, one minus for this, but I don't mind that look because it kind of looks like it's been framed a little, especially when you're using two different color patterns. So now we have all of our cover. Get rid of that. Let's get binding. So our pages, we make sure they're right side up, are going to go in the book just like this. I'm going to open this book so you can follow along. We have our outside cover, our pages in the center, and then this over here is going to be our dry erase board. So let's go ahead and add that. It comes with a clear protectant, and I just wrote on it so you guys would know what it was. It comes with a really good adhesive on the back, and it is really sticky. You just want to place it, because we cut it slightly smaller than this piece, so you just want to leave a little gap all the way around. See, there's just a little bit of edge on here. And that is it, guys. It is really stuck. So now we have our dry erase inside our book. We have our pages. We have our covers. Let's bind these together. We're using our 7/16 wire. We're going to use our We Are Memory Keepers cinch. Now, If you've seen other videos, maybe you haven't. If not, you might want to check out the one where I discuss my craftytinas cinch log. This is a guide, not for specific projects. This is just a guide to show you how many holes you want to punch based on the size so that you can center the holes. It doesn't matter what size wire you use. It could be any of the 4 sizes. This guide is simply helping you center the wires within the size. It's not project specific. This book, the side we want to put the wire on is 5.5. So if we go to the 5.5 side with wire, 5.5, there's 3 different ones. One of them is a 7-hole, one is an 8-hole, and one is a 9-hole. This particular book we're doing is 9 holes. It has 9 double loop wires. This is also available for printout on my Facebook page. So we want to punch the pages and the covers using this guide. So what does that mean? It means that if I'm doing 5.5 and I'm doing 9 holes, I am going to adjust my slider to 1 1/4. Here's your slider. You're going to pull it out until the line lines up with 1 1/4. The next step is that I'm going to push 1 through 9. All of these get pushed. And I'm going to pull 10, 11, and 12. Pushed, pulled. So remember, we are putting the wire on the left side because this is our book. I'm going to do all these at once because the machine can handle it. I know I want them punched on the non-folded side, so I put them pushed all the way in and all the way to the left. You want to put them up against your guide. Double check that 10, 11, and a 12, is pulled, and you're going to push 9 through 1 because I want 9 holes to punch. I don't want these 3. Because we move the slider, this will center the holes. And there we have it. I have all the holes punched and equal amount of space on top and bottom. And look, I didn't do it upside down. Good job. Now I want to punch my holes for this. Keep in mind, your notebook is basically just these 2. It doesn't include this in cinching. So we only want to cinch the left side of these 2 pieces. So I'm going to put them together and put them in the machine, making sure that I am pushing both all the way up into the machine till it stops and all the way to the left till it reaches the guide. Once I'm assured that both of them are done, then I'm going to punch. And now I have a notebook that holds the pages for the wires. Now let's bind them. We're going to hang our wire on the side because this helps us stack it properly. Normally when I'm making a notebook, I've got a cover, my pages, and another cover. That is the same situation here. So it gets stacked exactly the same way. Don't let this over here fool you. This is still your back cover. So the first step is to put all of your pages, make sure they're right side up, make sure you've got the front and the back. Right side up, the way you're going to look at your book is the way you want to put it in these wires. And the reason we're putting them in a certain order is we want the seam of the wire to be in the back of the book. This seam is in the back of my book. We don't want it in the front or on the outside. Place all your pages for the inside of the book down. Then you're going to take the front of your book, and this is the front of our book. Even though when we close it, this is the front, for the purpose of cinching, this piece right here is the front. We're going to put it right side up in case you put a different print on the back. Now the book is exactly like this. Now we put the back. Just like we do when we're making a regular notebook, we want the outside pretty page to be against the outside pretty page, the same way as if this did not exist. This is the not pretty page. This is the pretty page. Now that we have that lined up, and it's being lined up just like this one is, if we were to turn it this way, I've got the outside or the inside on top. Now we're going to turn it to the back of the machine to close the wires. Again, this wire is a 7/16, so it's going to be one click below the half because 7/16 is almost a half. They did not provide a 7/16 marking. I'm having to guess. That's why I said go to the half and go one click down by turning this little knob. There's your 1/2. There's one click below the half. It makes it slightly smaller than a half because a 7/16 is slightly smaller. You need to push these open wires up against the back of your machine inside the clamping area. They need to be flush to the wall, and you're going to hold them there using the book itself to put pressure to hold them inside, and then you're going to push down. And now they are cinched, and your wire, your line is on the inside of your book. So now let's go add the finishing touches. This is optional. It's not required. It's not necessary for the book. I just liked having a pocket because I plan on adding some stickers in here. I thought about putting an envelope on the front as well. You could do that. To make this little finger, I don't even know what that would be called, this little section to pull the paper in and out so it doesn't go past the edge, I simply took, I think this is a 1-inch punch. I'm pretty sure it's the 1-inch punch. It's super old. I think it's a Fisker, but it's really old. Any punch will do. You can even use a die. I just eyeballed the center and punched half a circle, and then it actually looks like it belongs. It looks like a typical pocket would look. Then I used Squeaky to add adhesive to 3 sides only. You do not want to add any adhesive to the top where you just punched that partial hole. You guys hear why I call him Squeaky? There we go. Only on 3 sides. If any of it's come over the paper, just rub it back and place it toward the bottom, centered between the edge of the paper and the section over here. And now I have a cute little pocket that I can put some stickers in, some items that I want to hang on to. I have adhesive. There we go. The next thing we want to add is our pen loop. And like I said, you don't have to add it to the back if you don't want to. You can add it here, or you could add it here if you wanted it to be outside on the cover. Just keep in mind where that pen is when you're closing it. If I'm going to monogram this, this actually would look good on this side. Also want to make sure my folds are good. I want to add it, I like it being in the center when it's totally open. So I'm going to add mine to the center of the back. And I got these on Amazon. They're actually working pretty well, but I think I want to still trial and error and make some of my own. And I add it to the back. Add a couple of fun magnets. Add a pen, or in this case, a dry erase marker. And these work for the dry erase markers. They also work for the mini pens and for full-size pens. And now I have this cute little book all ready to go. So tell me what you think. Let me know if you'll be making some mini calendar planners. I think we need to dress this one up a little. I think we need to dress up several of our notebooks, so maybe I'll make a video on how to dress up these notebooks. I normally make cards, so I'm all about the pretty little flowers. So there you have it, guys. One mini little calendar to go. Magnetic board, dry erase, and we are ready to get organized. These little pens came from Dollar Tree too, but I've had them so long I'm not really sure they still carry them. I will see if Amazon has them and put that in the link as well. So let me know what you think. Make sure you like this video and comment below. Subscribe so you'll know the next time I make a notebook or another crafty item. And as always, happy crafting!